Hey guys, Dwindling Elves here, and welcome to Game 9 of my Escalation League at the Montreal's Games Workshop. So today I've got my High Elves versus another High Elf opponent at 2250. So my magic is the same as last time. My list is the exact same as the previous game. So I've got the Lore Master of Hoth, the Book of Hoth, and then the level 1 Dragon Mage with the Spell Scroll. And he has Techless, and he's running Lore Master of High Magic. So my opponent's army is High Elves as well, but his list is very, very different from my own. So I play a very aggressive mounted-based army, and he's playing a more defensive infantry-based army. So what he has on the left is a unit of 20 Phoenix Guard, and in there he's got Techless. So with Techless in there, these guys have a 3-up ward save all the time, so I don't want to fight those guys at all. Then he's got 13 archers, a repeater bolt thrower, what looks like 30 spearmen, and then he's got 25 sword masters, and in there he's got a BSB with a great weapon and heavy armor. And behind his spearmen, he's got another noble on a griffin, and he had the armor of Calidor, which is a 2-up armor save and a 6+ ward and 2-up ward against flaming, and he had a lance as well. Then he has a second bolt thrower next to his swordmasters, and then a unit of 12 archers covering his right flank. So my list is the same as last time. So I put down my eagle on the left, then a unit of 6 silver helms with shields and full command behind the building. I'm going to use these 2 units to try to slow down his Phoenix Guard and maybe go after his war machines and his archers if I have the opportunity. Then I've got a unit of 12 silver helms with full command and shields, and in there I've got my BSB. He's got a 2-up rerollable armor save and a lance. And then I have 25 white lions with my lore master in there, and I've got banner and musician in that unit. Then behind the building, I've got my level 1 fire mage. He's got a spell scroll and a 2-up armor save. He's got the dragon armor and the enchanted shield mounted, which gives him a 2-up armor save. Then a frostheart phoenix, the flame spire phoenix next to him, and then a unit of reavers with just spears and musician. So he gets first turn, and he doesn't really move up, so he goes straight into magic. And in the magic phase, he gets +1 ballistic skill on this unit. So, I mean, I let that go, I don't really care. And they end up shooting at my silver helms and not doing any wounds, so I was perfectly fine with that. But in doing so, his Phoenix Guard get a 3-up ward save, and that's going to be pretty much the theme of the game. He's going to continuously get the 3-up ward save on that unit. And then in his shooting phase, his 2 bolt throwers open up on my silver helm, so I was happy that he wasn't shooting at my big monsters. But I did lose 4 knights from both bolt throwers, so he shot big bolts both times and killed 3 guys at one time and 1 guy the other time. Luckily, I passed my panic, but this big unit is very quickly getting cut down. So my turn. I move up very aggressively with my 3 flying monsters on the right flank, and I'm getting ready for a turn 2 charge, probably into his swordmasters, but we'll see what happens there. I move my reavers to support. I really don't have much of a role for these guys. They can't fight the archers. They'll unless they get a flank charge, and they could go into the bolt thrower, but it's still a long charge, and that would be turn 3. In the center, I move up more tentatively. I'm really just trying to avoid his Phoenix Guard and deal with all the units on the right side first. And then on my far left, I moved my eagle up. I didn't want to fly into that marsh, so I moved him up on the side of the marsh. And I move up slightly slowly. I probably could have been more aggressive with the silver helms, but I'm going to run into the gap in between the building and that chapel there, and hopefully distract his Phoenix Guard. If his Phoenix Guard come after these guys, that would be amazing. But if they don't, then maybe I'll go after his archers or his war machine. So on my magic phase, I just get Ice Shard Blizzard off on this bolt thrower, so he's -1 to hit, so he'll only be hitting me on 4s. And then I try to decrease the ballistic skill of the other bolt thrower using Miasma, and I use 1 dice, I roll a 1, and I get to re-roll it with the Book of Oath, and I roll a 1 again. So that means my Lore Master can't cast anything else. So I had 2 dice left, and I figured, okay, well, I'll just throw up Flaming Sword of Ruin. As a preventative measure, I mean, I had nothing else to do with the dice. And in the event that his Swordmasters charge me, at least I'll be wounding them on 2s with the breath weapon, which could make the difference there. So his High Elf turn 2. Again, he stays very much stable. He moves his Griffin over and he wheels his Swordmasters, but that's it for his movement. And then in the magic phase, I let go the big version of Walk Between Worlds, and he moves his Phoenix Guard up like that. And that really, that's a challenge for me. I probably should have tried to stop that spell because I used my scroll to dispel Flames of the Phoenix or Fiery Convocation. So I had the dice. I mismanaged my dice in this phase. But the one good thing is, if if my Silver Helms make the charge against his Spearmen, they'll run right past them. If they fail the charge, then I pretty much have to flee, and I'll either lose the unit of Silver Helms with my BSB because they'll catch me, or they'll pretty much be out of the game because they'll run away and then have to rally and turn around. And by the time that happens, will probably be turn 5. So in a shooting phase, his bolt throwers keep shooting at my knights, which I think again I was okay with, but now I'm going to be in trouble because I'm going to send my Silver Helms into his Spearmen, and he's got 3 ranks, so that's 3 extra static combat res that I have to overcome with kills. First turn it's okay, but after that it's going to be really bad. It's going to be a struggle to equal kills. So my turn 2, I charge everything in. So luckily my Silver Helms make the charge. I think they need a 6, but that is very failable. So they make it in. So they're going to be fighting the Spearmen, which I feel good about, but he's got a lot of static combat res, so I really maybe want to get some magic support in there. And then I charge the Dragon and the Frostheart Phoenix into the Swordmasters, and the Flamespire Phoenix goes into a Bolt Thrower, and the overrun path is such that when I overrun, I'll overrun directly into the Swordmasters, so I'll get 3 giant monsters into that one unit, which I'm feeling really good about. I move my Eagle up to threaten the War Machine and the flank of those archers on the left flank, and on the right flank, I use my fast cav up. I move my fast cav up to threaten the flank of the other archer unit. And then this is a picture of the Silver Helms. I think I've been a little bit too tentative on this flank with them. They probably should have moved up more. They're out of line of sight of the Phoenix Guard, so I really should have. I'm not really worried about him charging me. So yeah, a little bit too tentative. And then I also move my White Lions up, and they're able to move up out of line of sight of those Phoenix Guard, because that's a matchup I'm really looking to avoid. So that's good. So at least this turn, his Phoenix Guard won't be able to charge anything. So my magic phase is a bust. Again, he stops everything I throw at him. The Flamespire Phoenix kills the Bolt Thrower and overruns into the Swordmaster, so that's very good for me. It's an extra 3 attacks plus an extra Thunderstomp. And so that's what it looks like before. I think he's got 25 or 26 in there plus the BSB. And then after combat, that's what happened. I think I killed 20 guys. I think I killed about 20 guys between 3 Thunderstomps, the breath weapons, and all the attacks. And I take 1 wound on the Sun Dragon. But he's still steadfast and he sticks. But I feel really good about that. And yeah, this is exactly what my list is built to do. Charge 3 flying monsters into 1 unit and deal with it. And try to delay the rest of the army and then deal with it later. So then in this combat, I kind of whiffed my attacks. I only ended up killing 4 guys. He didn't kill any of mine, so I ended up winning combat, and he sticks because he's leadership 10 rerollable. So my opponent's turn 3. So we had a discussion about this. So he had 2 options here. He could have charged the Griffin into the Flamespire Phoenix and charged the archers into the flank of the Phoenix, and that would have gotten him a couple of combat res. And if he had killed that guy, then he would be out of combat with those 2 units, and any combat res that I would have gotten from killing the rest of the Swordmaster unit would be negated. So they wouldn't flee just because I killed the rest of the Swordmasters. But we talked about it for a couple of minutes, and we decided the safer bet was for him to take out the fast cav unit and just get points where he can. So that's what he did. And then he gets Fiery Convocation off on the White Lions and kills 10 of them, which is probably less than he should have, but I'll take it. And then in the shooting phase over here, he shoots his archers at the eagle, and the eagles get 1 wound left, which is perfect because that's all I need. And then the bolt thrower takes out another 2 knights. I mean, his bolt throwers have been really good for him. So, but again, I don't need all 6 knights to do what I need to do with those guys. And as you would expect, the griffin makes short work of the fast cav and turns around. And over here, wow, this got a little bit tense for me. I got a little bit nervous because he killed 2 of my guys, and my knights, between my knights and the BSB, I killed 1 guy. I have 4 horse attacks, and the horses attack, and I kill 3 more. So I think I end up winning by 1, or it's a tie, or it was very close. Either way, we both end up sticking. And yeah, I know I'm using Bretonnian models here, and I know Bretonnians' horses kill more than the riders a lot of the time. That's what happened here. I feel very, very fortunate about that. And yeah, in this giant combat, it's as expected. Um, my dragon mage, the dragon takes another wound, but I thunderstomp the crap or and just have so many attacks that I just kill the rest of the unit to the man, which allows me to reform like such. And the great thing about this is I broke him on his turn, which means it's my turn next, and I get free charges into anything I want. And that's what I do. So I send the Frostheart Phoenix and the Dragon Mage into the flank of into the Spearman, which I really, really needed because I don't think my Knights would have ground out that combat and they would have eventually lost. I send the Silverhelms, the unit of 4 Silverhelms, into the Bolt Thrower, which I think I could easily win. And then Flamespire Phoenix goes into the Archer unit, and I also get a reasonable charge with my White Lines just to get rid of their Steadfast, so I can break them easier, and I don't have to worry about a counter charge from his Griffin Noble. And then, yeah, so my Eagle's got 1 wound left, and it's time for the Eagle to take one for the team. I put him in front of the Phoenix Guard, so he can't flank charge me, because he's probably still going to be steadfast in all these combats. So I don't need a counter charge on his turn. So the Eagle is really, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Eagles. So in the Magic phase, I spend all my dice trying to dispel Fiery Convocation, and I do. So we go straight to combat, and I charge in here, and he kills one of my knights with 2 up armor save, and I do 0 wounds to him. So I end up winning because I have Musician and a charge, but he ends up sticking. So that was really unexpected. And then, yeah, in the center combat, it's as you would expect. The dragon and the phoenix absolutely go to town. I end up losing 1 more knight, but I kill a ton of his guys. But again, he's steadfast 10 and he holds. And in this combat, I kind of whiffed my attacks. I only killed 3 guys, but he ends up losing by 4 or 5, and he's not steadfast because I've got ranks. So he ends up breaking, and I catch him. I pursue with the frost or the flamefire phoenix, and I reform with the white lines to so I don't get flank charged. But the flamefire phoenix needed like a 6 to get off the board, and I rolled like a 5, so he's stuck there. So he's gonna eat a flank charge from that griffin next turn. So my opponent's turn 4, he charges the Phoenix Guard into the eagle. So yeah, I know the eagle's dead, but it prevented him from getting charged into anything else, so that's perfect for me. And the Griffin goes into the Flamefire Phoenix. I don't know how that's supposed to work. I think I might be able to survive, and I've got my general nearby, so maybe I'll make my leadership test. I know I'm going to lose it, but we'll see. And then in the magic phase, I stop Fiery Convocation, but he gets Tempest off, and he hits the entire unit directly, So he gets 15 hits. He does, I think, like 5 or 6 wounds, and I have a 5 up armor save, and I make every single one. I thought this was completely ridiculous. I take 0 wounds, despite every guy getting hit in the unit. So that was really, really lucky for me. And then, as expected, the Noble and the Griffin do the last 3 wounds on the Phoenix, and they kill him outright. And then he overruns, and he overran like 3 inches, but it's just enough to get out of my line of sight. As expected, the Eagle dies here. We don't even roll for it, I just remove him from play. And then, yeah, so my 2 monsters, between my 2 monsters and the rest of my knights, yeah, we absolutely eat the rest of the Spearman unit, and they end up breaking and fleeing, but I don't end up catching him. But, he's on it. It's my turn next, so I can just charge him straight off the board. I reform, so I've got a choice with my Phoenix and my Dragon Mage. I can send them um, into the Phoenix Guard bunker, but I really don't want to chance it with all those 3 ward saves. So I turn around and I go after the easier points, which is the Griffin the Griffin Noble. I think he's worth like 200 and he's an easy 270 points. So I'm just going after those guaranteed points there, because if he flees right off the board. And I also killed the Bolt Thrower on the left of the picture. So my knights charge the Spearman off the board, but they don't go off the board themselves. They rolled something really low again. I think I rolled a 3 and I needed a 4 to get off the board, which is not good. Which means that I have to sacrifice my small unit of Silver Helms, and I put them in front of the Phoenix Guard so that the Phoenix Guard can only charge them. And I should also mention, at this point, we thought it was turn 5. So we thought that after this turn that there would only be 1 turn left. So that also affected how we played the game, or at least how I played the game. So yeah, my 2 monsters fly into his 1 monster, and I'm not really worried about that. And my white lines reform just in case I don't kill him or break him or something miraculous happens, so that I can countercharge the next time. In the magic phase, all I get off is Flaming Sword of Ruin on the Dragon Mage, which is actually pretty good because now I'm wounding him on 3s instead of 4s. And I direct all my attacks against the Griffin. I kill the Griffin from underneath the rider, and then I Thunderstomp the rider. So he dies. And I just leave my guys there because I thought it was turn 5, and I knew I was never going to fight those Phoenix Guard because I had sacrificed the other knights. So that's why I just stay there. So it's turn 5, and we thought it was turn 6. He charges his Phoenix Guard into my 3 knights because that's all they can do, and they might as well get the easy points. In the magic and shooting phase, so he casts Fiery Convocation on the 2 Silver Helms with my BSB unit, and he actually does no wounds. So that was lucky, and he also shoots at me and does no wounds, so those guys are preserving all those points. In the combat phase, I do 2 wounds on Teclis, which I thought was pretty lucky, and he only kills 1 guy back. I made armor saves like a champ. And I actually end up sticking. So then High Elf turn 5, my turn 5, and again I thought it was turn 6, because otherwise, I would have moved my dragons around and maybe prepared for a last turn charge, but we thought this was the last turn of the game. So I put my attacks on Teclis, I do no wounds. His Phoenix Guard attack me, and I again made armor saves like a champ. I didn't take any wounds from the Phoenix Guard. Teclis has his 1 attack and punks 1 guy. So I'm on like a 4 rerollable, and I end up breaking, but he doesn't catch me, so I end up getting away. So that's the last shot of the game. So all he has left is Teclis and the Phoenix Guard and the Archer unit. I've got both Silver Helm units, my Dragon, my Frostheart Phoenix, and my White Lions. So it ends up being a victory for me. So the after action report, a couple of things I learned. Combo charging with the flying monsters, again, the way to go. 3 Thunder Stomps is very, very deadly, and then you include the Breath Weapon and all the extra attacks. Now the Frostheart Phoenix is amazing. -1 strength keeps the Toughness 5 Dragon alive much longer, as well as the Toughness 5 Flamespire Phoenix. Well, actually, I don't think is all that good. I'm not using him properly either, but I don't have a second Frostheart Phoenix, so I don't have the model, so I figured I would play with him. My auxiliary units performed very well again. So having an eagle at the exact right time where I need them, or having a cheap throwaway unit of cavalry where it's 160 points and you don't care if it dies, very, very useful. I sacrificed both those units to keep his Phoenix Guard out of the game. In retrospect, I did think I gave the Phoenix Guard a little bit too much respect. They do have a 3-up war save and are very difficult to shift, but they're not that killy themselves. Now, obviously, the White Lions into them is a really, really bad matchup for the White Lions, and they're going to absolutely chew through the White Lions. But I think I could have been maybe more aggressive with my Dragon and my Frostheart Phoenix. He's only going to be Strength 3. He'll hit me a lot, but he's never going to do any wounds. Or he's going to do very few wounds, that is. And then I've got thunderstomps and stuff, so I think I could have been more aggressive there. And if I get a frontal charge in, I can obviously put as many attacks as I can on Techless and kill him, get those points. So I think I gave them a little bit too much respect. Um, but I'm fine with it. I didn't need to kill those guys to win the game. And then my Lore Master actually performed pretty poorly. So that's 2 games in a row where I rarely get any magic off. Now, what's happening a lot is I'm rolling a lot of 6s and 1s, so my opponent has like 1 fewer dice than me. When you have a level 2, it's kind of hurts. So he really relies on, luck. If you get a 3 and 3 or a 4-4, whatever, if you have a larger margin, he can actually get spells off. But if you don't, if you get unlucky with your rolls, he barely gets spells off. So I think I'm actually going to switch him out. So next game, I think I'm going to be rocking a level 4 of Shadow with the Book of Hoeth and the Talisman of Preservation. He's a little bit more expensive. It costs me 2 White Lions to add him in and to replace the Lore Master, but that's what I'm going to do in my next game. And I think Shadow works really well with this type of list because generally I'm combo charging 2 monsters and knights, or a monster and knights, or 3 monsters into a single unit, and debuffing that single unit with Lower Shadow helps even more. So I think that's what I'm going to start trying. As far as the Escalation League is concerned, I get 2 points. So 2 points for the win. I didn't get 80 points for killing the general. But yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. So hope you guys enjoyed it.